now hold most of Syria, including the city of Aleppo. Kurdish forces control significant swathes close to the border with Turkey, as do Turkish-backed Syrian rebels, whilst much of Idlib province is ruled by an armed rebel group accused of links to extremists. In the opposition-controlled towns, the White Helmets, best known for responding to Russian and regime airstrikes, have been at the forefront again. In under-resourced hospitals, beds are full, body bags cover the floor.
We felt the quake. It was very strong, so we grabbed the kids and ran outside. Just as we got to the entrance of our building, it collapsed. It just collapsed around us. We were saved because of a wooden door which fell on us. The building was 4 stories. No one else in the block survived.
In the regime-controlled city of Hama, rescue teams worked amidst heavy rain, pulling out yet more dead bodies. This disaster and the pain it's brought, crossing even the most bitter political divides.
Well, earlier I spoke with Ismail Al-Abdullah from the Syrian White Helmets in northern Idlib, and I asked him what happened when the earthquake started.
I was in my house. I grabbed my children when the ground started to shake and the building was shaking, and ran to the street to save my family. After a few minutes, I learned and got news about dozens of buildings collapsed. In the morning, when we started to see the sun, we heard the news about that all northwest Syria, in each village, there are buildings that collapsed on the families, and there are thousands of people right now under the rubble. All the White Helmets volunteers are on the field working, carrying out rescue operations, search and rescue operation. We retrieved 450 dead bodies from under the rubble. We rescued 1,100 civilians from under the rubble.
In that moment, you are in a very, very difficult position. You're a White Helmets volunteer, but your first priority, presumably, to try and get your children out, your family to safety.
We were sleeping, me and my kids. So the first thing happened that the building was shaking left and right, and something like the whole building would collapse on us. So we walked for hours, so the earthquake was stopped. In just a few, 1 block from my house, there was a building. Our neighbors right there in the house, there were about 15 civilians died under the mountain of rubble that in seconds actually after the earthquake.
As a member of the White Helmets, of course, sadly, you became used to dealing with the impact of the war. I just wonder, is this very, very different? Are you equipped to deal with the magnitude of need here?
Northwest Syria is not equipped to deal with anything. Like this disaster needed international efforts to deal with this. For us, it was like today was a horrible day for us. It's different, totally different. All the teams, this big number, more than 2,000 volunteers on the field, would not enough, and the equipment that we have are not enough to respond to rescue the people. So this is it needs international effort to handle this.
You are rescuing people. You are pulling them from the rubble. But because of the war, presumably, when you take them to the hospital, the facilities are just not good enough. There are not enough. Is that right?
Yeah, they are not enough. Now we're talking about 1,000, and the number will rise. As we talk right now, the number will rise. We don't have enough hospitals to receive those injured people. We don't have medical supplies for them. Those injured people need medical care, special medical care. They need surgeries. They need many things. So we don't have this infrastructure. We don't have that strong health sector. We don't have that can contain this disaster in Northwest Syria, and it's not ready to handle this kind of disaster. It's very difficult. It's bigger than the White Helmet. It's bigger than any NGO operating on the Northwest Syria.
And of course, in northwestern Syria, you have some areas held by government forces, some areas held by rebel forces, opposition forces. How does that complicate things, do you think, in terms of trying to get help?
This is a complicated situation that all the parties, all the cities need help. So for us, it put pressure on us that we need to work hard, and maybe we'll not get help from anyone. No one will send blankets, no one will send anything.
If you don't get help immediately, what do you fear will happen? You've also got very, very cold, bitter weather to contend with.
We will lose lives, we will lose people, we will lose children who are now stuck under rubble. Maybe we'll lose people who are injured. This is going to be another catastrophe, not the earthquake, but after the earthquake, those people need medical care, those who need shelter, need drinkable water, they need blankets, they need response immediately.
Ismail Al Abdullah, thank you so much for talking to us today.